As a result, the entire world waits in uncertainty. Governments, investors, and Ordina. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that everything you thought was secure is suddenly uncertain. Your bank balance looks the same, but its real value has dropped overnight. Groceries that used to cost $50 now cost $100. Gasoline prices are twice what they were yesterday. Your rent notice says the price will increase next month, and there's talk at work about possible layoffs. This isn't a scene from a dystopian movie. It's the kind of economic shock experts warn could unfold if global tensions spiral into a large-scale conflict. Dairy families are watching these developments with caution, unsure of whether we are headed toward collapse or the dawn of a new order. What we can say with certainty is that the tensions we face today are already reshaping the global economy. Whether this leads to lasting conflict or a new balance of power, the effects will be felt by everyone, everywhere. In today's video, we're taking a deep dive into what might happen if the world edges closer to a conflict on the scale of World War III. But this isn't about military tactics or battlefield maps. It's about what such a crisis could mean for you, your daily life, your job, your savings, and even your long-term future. If you think these scenarios are too far-fetched, you might want to stay with me, because the last point I'll share could be the most surprising and the most relevant to your own stability. Right now, the geopolitical atmosphere is charged. From Eastern Europe to the South China Sea, tensions between global powers are no longer just diplomatic disagreements. They're becoming high-stakes standoffs. And while each conflict might seem isolated, they're all connected in a larger, fragile web of international relations. Any single spark could be enough to trigger a chain reaction that pulls in multiple nations, alliances, and economies. If such a multi-front conflict were to occur, the first major impact wouldn't just be seen in military headlines, it would ripple through the global economy. Supply chains, which already proved fragile during recent global events, could collapse entirely. Ships carrying essential goods might be stopped at ports. Air travel could be restricted. Countries might halt exports of vital products like oil, grain, and electronics. And when the flow of goods slows or stops, prices for nearly everything begin to surge. This sudden scarcity would push inflation into overdrive. Within weeks, everyday necessities, bread, milk, gasoline, could double or triple in price. For people living paycheck to paycheck, this could be devastating. Even those with savings would feel the pinch as their money buys less and less. The economic shock would spread rapidly from one country to another, because in today's interconnected world, no nation is truly isolated from global market turbulence. This sudden scarcity would push inflation into overdrive. Within weeks, everyday necessities, bread, milk, gasoline, could double. One of the first and most dramatic shocks in such a crisis would likely be felt in the energy sector. Oil prices could surge to unprecedented levels, potentially reaching hundreds of dollars per barrel. This wouldn't just make driving more expensive, it would affect the cost of everything from manufacturing goods to delivering food. Electricity bills could rise sharply as fuel for power plants becomes harder to obtain. For millions of households, basic energy use, heating, cooling, and even cooking, might suddenly feel like a luxury rather than a necessity or triple in price. For people living paycheck to paycheck, this could be devastating. Even those with savings would feel the pinch as their money buys less and less. The economic shock would spread rapidly from one country to another, because in today's interconnected world, no nation is truly isolated from global market turbulence. The stock markets, which depend heavily on investor confidence, would likely react with extreme volatility. In times of uncertainty, panic selling can spread rapidly. Large institutional investors may pull out first, triggering a chain reaction where smaller investors follow. This sudden mass exit could cause a steep market crash, wiping out years of gains in retirement funds and personal investments. Even those who don't actively trade stocks could feel the effect through job losses, reduced business activity, and weakened national economies. Currencies would also come under pressure. Countries that depend heavily on imports could see their currencies lose value quickly, making foreign goods even more expensive. For everyday consumers, this could mean paying double or triple for items like electronics, clothing, and even basic household goods. Tourists and business travelers might find their money worth far less abroad, while imported technology and medicine could become harder to access or completely unavailable. Food security would be another major concern. Modern agriculture relies on a complex network of imported fertilizers, machinery, and seeds. If global trade is disrupted, farming output could drop significantly in many countries. Even nations that produce their own food might struggle if transportation networks are compromised. The result could be empty shelves in supermarkets, food rationing by governments, and rising prices that put nutritious meals out of reach for millions. Small businesses would face severe challenges as supply shortages, high costs, and declining consumer spending combine into a perfect storm. Many would be forced to cut jobs or shut down entirely. Large corporations might survive longer but would also need to make major cost-cutting decisions, often at the expense of employees. For workers, this could mean reduced hours, pay cuts, or layoffs, adding another layer of financial strain to already struggling households. In response to such an economic shock, governments would likely introduce emergency measures aimed at maintaining stability. These could include price controls on essential goods to prevent extreme inflation, rationing systems to ensure fair distribution of food and fuel, and even temporary freezes on bank withdrawals to stop panic runs. While these policies might slow the crisis in the short term, they could also limit personal freedoms and make everyday transactions more complicated for ordinary citizens. Central banks, tasked with controlling inflation, might respond by raising interest rates sharply. While this could help stabilize currency values, it would also make borrowing money far more expensive. Mortgages, car loans, and even small business financing could become out of reach for many. This would further slow economic activity, as fewer people and companies are able to invest or spend, deepening the overall downturn. International trade would likely shrink dramatically. Countries that rely on exporting goods to keep their economies strong would suffer as global demand collapses. Factories producing everything from cars to consumer electronics could be forced to shut down or operate at reduced capacity. This would lead to rising unemployment, especially in manufacturing hubs, and could trigger social unrest as communities struggle to adapt to sudden economic changes. The crisis would not be limited to the physical world. Digital infrastructure could also be targeted. Cyber attacks on financial systems could disrupt online banking, payment processing, and even government operations. In extreme cases, critical data could be erased or held hostage by malicious actors. This could cause chaos for businesses and individuals who rely on digital transactions for daily life, leading to further instability. For everyday people, adapting to such a drastically different environment would be essential. Families might need to rethink their spending habits, prioritize basic needs over luxuries, and even explore alternative ways to access goods, such as local barter systems or community-supported agriculture. Those with strong local networks could fare better, as cooperation and mutual aid become increasingly valuable in a world where global systems are strained or broken. In a prolonged global crisis, everyday lifestyles could change drastically. People might shift from relying on large retail chains to sourcing goods locally or producing them at home. Home gardens could become a necessity rather than a hobby, and communities might pool resources to ensure everyone has access to essentials. This kind of grassroots adaptation could foster stronger local bonds, but it would also highlight the loss of the convenience and variety that global trade once provided. Another possibility is the reintroduction of government-led initiatives like war bonds or national service programs. While such measures might aim to support the economy or defense efforts, they could also bring significant changes to family structures and daily life. For example, working-age individuals might be called into service, leaving gaps in the workforce and placing more responsibility on remaining family members. Another possibility is the reintroduction of government-led initiatives like war bonds or national service programs. While such measures might aim to support the economy or defense efforts, they could also bring significant changes to family structures and daily life. For example, working-age individuals might be called into service, leaving gaps in the workforce and placing more responsibility on remaining family members. While no one can predict exactly when or if a large-scale conflict will occur, individuals can still take proactive steps to protect themselves. Diversifying personal savings, reducing unnecessary debt, and developing new skills can all provide a stronger foundation for facing unexpected challenges. Knowledge is equally important. Staying informed about global events can help you make timely decisions and adapt more quickly to changes. The future remains uncertain, but awareness and preparation are powerful tools. If this video has given you new insights into how global events could affect your daily life, consider sharing it so others can also stay informed. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analysis, where we'll discuss practical strategies you can use to build resilience in times of global instability. In the end, staying ready is not about fear, it's about empowering yourself to navigate whatever comes next.